It's round 8 of Super Rugby for footytips.com.au. Greg Growden alongside Sam Bruce. Greg, we kick it off this week. The unbeaten Hurricanes hosting the Stormers in Wellington.
Incredible. Who would have thought 6 out of 6 the Hurricanes? But they do look good. They're playing good football, and at last you're seeing their potential. And I think it will continue this week. I think they'll be 7 from 7.
What are you seeing in their game this year?
I'm seeing that they're using their talent properly. Their pack is playing a lot better. They've always had the back line, but it seemed to be always a bit fragmented. They get lost around 9, 10. There seem to be identity crises there, but Conrad Smith is a very stable player there. Nonu makes a difference, and there's that stability. And whether they keep going, I don't know. But I know there's a lot of Wellingtonians here on the smelling salts thinking, at last, we've gone through so much trauma, and last there's a team there which could do something.
They're due. The Rebels and Reds down at Amy Park in an Aussie local derby later on Friday night. Rebels are pretty well beaten by the Hurricanes last week, while the Reds, they got Quade back and looked pretty rusty.
They did look rusty, but I think with Quade back, I think they might start doing something. I was impressed that James O'Connor was looking out for him, and you're right, they were rusty everywhere. Their pack's still a major concern, and some stupid things always happen. They always waste line-out throws. Under pressure, they fall apart. But I just got a feeling the Quade Cooper impact may change this game. I know I'm going to tip the Reds, not confidently, but I just got a feeling that Cooper there, Genia and O'Connor just may be enough to do something against a Rebels team who are very good in defence, but are starting to show a little bit fragmentation in attack.
And the Rebels still chasing a win at home for quite some time.
Is bizarre.
Saturday, the Chiefs and the Blues over there at Waikato Stadium. Chiefs in an odd sort of win over the Cheetahs last week, while the Blues, they lost to the Waratahs. They were better, but they're still winless.
They are, and I think they remain winless. The Chiefs are sort of had a few stutters, but I understand Sonny Bill's going to be back. I think that will make a big difference. So I think this could be a big win for the Chiefs.
Brumbies and Cheetahs down there in Canberra on Saturday night. The Brumbies coming off the bye, while the Cheetahs, they've left New Zealand and come across to Australia for the second leg of their Australasian tour. The Cheetahs, they're a good side, and they troubled the Chiefs at times last week, but they just lack that little bit of finishing class.
Exactly. Well, let's hope there's a reasonable crowd at the Brumbies. I hear they're offering half-price tickets at Canberra, which is it's a bit of a worry, particularly, Brumbies are probably the most entertaining of all the Australian teams, but they've always struggled for a crowd in Canberra for quite a while. And they will be ruining what happened in Sydney a week or two ago. They've had a week off. So I think you'll see them win comfortably and hopefully get the crowds back, because it's a worry that that Canberra's crowds have been so ordinary for so long.
The loss of Tavita Kurandrani, how does that affect them?
It's a big problem, but Kurandrani's been a bit up and down, but they've got... The good thing about the Brumbies are that they know how to rally. You might see Coleman play more of an impact role this week. It is a problem, but against the Cheetahs, I think they'll get away with it.
Later Saturday night, Sharks and Crusaders over there in South Africa. The Sharks, they've been pretty ordinary, while the Crusaders, they lost to the Bulls, but they really need this. Come away with 2 defeats from South Africa. That doesn't happen often for the Seven.
Yeah, I thought they would have beaten the Bulls. They didn't, the Crusaders. I got up and watched the Sharks Force match and wondered why.
Why did you do that?
Oh, that was a shocker. It was a shocker. The Sharks are still playing that Jake ball, which I just hate. And the Force playing this pod football. 1, 2, let's pass it here. Okay, we'll do it. Dreadful football. So I just hope the Crusaders win, because they do know how to play proper football, because what the Sharks are doing, they keep playing this kick-orientated game. Forget it. But it is a problem. Crusaders won't have Daniel Carter, who's come home because of the birth of a child. So that's going to make it a bit tricky. But I'm going to stick with the Crusaders because I push teams that like good, proper rugby.
Colin Slade likely to shift to number 10 there for Dan Carter. Wrapping up round 8, it's the Lions and Bulls over there in Johannesburg. The Lions finally back home after 3 from 4 on their Australasian tour.
Yeah, tremendous road tour for them, because we've taken great delight over the years in bagging the Lions, particularly on the road. I noticed that one New Zealand rugby magazine came out a month or so ago and said the Lions would never ever win a game in New Zealand. Well, they've proven them wrong. And yeah, if they win a couple at home, they are of all things possible, finals candidate. But I think, who would have thought? But I think the Bulls will bring back a bit of reality in Joburg. The Bulls have been sitting there. The Bulls are playing okay football, not great football, but I think the travel, so forth. The Bulls, but not by much.
Victor Matfield having a rest in that one. Okay, recapping Greg's tips for Super Rugby Round 8. It's the Hurricanes, the Reds, the Chiefs, the Brumbies, the Crusaders and the Bulls. And remember to enter your tips every week at footytips.com.au for your chance to win an all expenses paid trip to Auckland for the Bledisloe Cup. Greg, that'd be a pretty good trip.
It'd be a ripper, particularly when you're getting a ticket to come back as well. Perfect.
That's Round 8. See you next week.